completely like, you just don't get me. You just don't get my vibe. Be okay with people not getting your vibe. There's nothing you're gonna do differently to change your mind. Don't take it personal. This is especially conflicting.
Who 𝐾𝐨𝐲 is, I can't help you. She made a video talking about being a polarizing person. And she basically said that a polarizing person is somebody who, like, they could literally walk into a room and people for some reason can just decide that they don't like them. It's like the second you walk into a room, people project whatever feelings onto you. You can walk into a room and people decide that they automatically f with you. Or you could walk into that same room and people decide that they absolutely do not.
If people often told you, I thought you were really intimidating, but you're actually really nice. People seem to have a very strong reaction towards you, whether they love you or they hate you. They're incredibly loyal to you or they're incredibly loyal to hating you. You probably have a polarizing personality. That's actually not a bad thing. And when I say polarizing, I don't mean rude and combative and disrespectful. I mean polarizing as in you make people feel emotions, whether they're good or bad. You're authentic. You take up space. You say what's on your mind that most people wouldn't say. Chances are you leave an impression, and that's perfectly fine. Actually, lean into that.
Do you trigger people? Do people think that you're too much? Do you try hard to tone yourself down, to be agreeable, shaking your head yes, and you really want to say no? But no matter what you do, people still find ways to not like you. People are going to judge you anyway. They'll judge the way you dress. They'll judge where you're from. They'll judge your success. They'll judge your quirks. They'll judge the things that are good about you. And so it's not your responsibility to make sure people are comfortable. It's not your job to make sure people are okay. It's not your job to make people feel good enough when they are around you. If you're tired of shrinking yourself and toning yourself down to be digestible to people around you, then you need to continue to watch this video because you are not alone. I have been there as well. I don't deserve this, your love, and sometimes I just prefer away. See, I consider myself a polarizing individual. Me being polarizing, this means that no matter where I go, I can't say nothing. If I don't say a thing, not a mumbling word, someone's gonna find something about me to not like. They'll come up with a rumor, they'll talk about me, they'll put me down, and I don't even have to say nothing, and all of this will come about. And if I do go up and say things to people and just be agreeable and talk the way they want to talk, they still gonna find something about me that they don't like. And this is what some people call a polarizing personality, where people, they don't like you, they really don't like you, and you have people who love you, and no matter, they'll love you, but it's to an extent in a way. So you pretty much, you go against the norms, you go against the grain of what everyone else in society is doing, just simply being you. And so I'm going to give you guys a list of different types of polarizing personalities that I came to find out. And some of these things are very good qualities, but there are often people that are on the other spectrum who are not going to like you for that, right? And so one of it is that you're dominating or you're assertive, and you find that some people really like it. They see that you're confident. And then others, they'll view as you just being too loud and you're too controlling and you're overbearing, and it can cause some people to feel resentment. Another one is you're charismatic. Some people feel like, oh, I really like this person. This person makes me feel special. This person makes me feel seen. And then there's others that's going to feel like, oh, I don't trust them. They seem manipulative. There's something about them that I don't like that. Everybody else like this person, something about them that I don't like. There's people that will view you that way as well. And there's this like controversial opinions. There are people who have these deep opinions that are different from what people in society or the normal conversation that people have. And some people find it very fascinating and they're very interested in to hear and learn from this person. Where there's others who think that you're deliberately trying to spark controversy. And there's ambition and success. There are some people who aspire and look up to people who are successful, and then there's others that are intimidated by that, and they're thinking that, oh, this person just only care about making money, they don't really care about people. There's a long list of more and more different types of things that makes a person feel a bit too much that you're polarizing. I've often found myself in situations where a lot of people did not like me for absolutely no reason, just because I existed. And it got to a point where I began to just isolate myself from people. And In various videos, I've been talking about this different type of topic, but it is just that I always found myself just being targeted and people just like having to join up against not liking me. So it'll be like this one head person who is like it could be a man or it could be a woman. It happened on a job and it happened in school, any type of social gathering, right? So it'll be like the person who's in charge of the group. And for whatever reason, when my existence shows up into their space, they immediately feel intimidated. They immediately begin to be passive aggressive towards me. They immediately begin to say snide remarks towards me, try to make everybody turn against me, and it's very obvious. And they won't even know me. But there'll be the other people around that will probably like me initially, but that person who's in charge, the whole crowd will just gather and just kind of exclude me. That has always been my reality. I've had people from the past, like once I removed myself from the situation or that a lot of time had went by, those same individuals reached out to me and actually was like, my bad about things. And it was more so just like an energy thing. It's a thing of like, you damn if you do, you damn if you don't. So it's like a thing that I wasn't able to control in the moment. It was more so about something of me having to figure out how to change my energy because it was attracting that type of energy, right? So it's not like you're out here doing these things, you're just being this bad person. A lot of the times it's just about this energy that was placed onto you. Or, maybe some people are offended by how you act or how you do, what you wear, the wealth you have. So all those things are true as well. But I'm talking about my particular case is more so like people were always felt threatened by me or felt offended by me or felt triggered or intimidated by me when I just was there simply existing. And it used to really, really bother me like a lot. And I just started to just turn myself away from friendships. I just isolate myself from people. I began to just not like people because I was just so sick and tired of every time I came around people, no matter how kind I am to them, no matter what I did, it was just always this same dynamic, the same thing that always happened. And I could tell you, point out like, okay, this person right here is not going to like me. And sure enough, they didn't. And it's not just me being a self-fulfilling prophecy. It is just something that was my experience. And I began to reflect, and me being the type of person I like to deeply work within myself, and I began to realize this definitely came from my childhood. One of my parents always been that way. One parent just always, if I just expressed myself or didn't want to do everything that they wanted me to do, if I didn't agree everything they wanted me to agree with, or if I wanted to think the way how I wanted to think, or go to a different type of school that I wanted to go to, major in a major that I want to go to. Like, no matter if I tried to be myself, one of my parents would see that as me being defiant and dehumanize me in a way. And my siblings that are around will often gather in and they will often ostracize me. And that has been the story of my life. Unfortunately, that has been like my upbringing. And then that same dynamic carried me throughout the rest of my life, because what you never heal, you're going to continue to face over and over again. This is how life is, right? And so it took me to finally just go within. And then I noticed that I would also abandon myself. So instead of me abandoning myself, I start to sit with the emotions and figure out, okay, why do I feel this way? Why are people making me feel like this? And what do I feel when they do this to me? And there's a feeling of shame came up for me. And there's a feeling of sadness came up. And I was like, okay, so what am I sad about? I started to feel like, okay, I'm not good enough for people to like. I'm not a good enough person. There's something wrong with me. And these are different types of things that was projected onto me. And it was the story that was projected. And I kept trying to run away from that story, from that projection that was placed on me in my upbringing. And then so I finally sat with it. And I was like, you know what? It's actually, that's not true. And that's not who I am. I'm not a bad person. And I began to think about those people who do like me and how much they do like me and how I am able to be myself around those people, I began to not really care so much about how people felt towards me. I began to not care about the person, the random stranger who was at the opposite end of the table, whoever the coworker was who didn't like me. I began to not care and not really care if a group of people isolated me. I started to say to myself the things that I thought that I was lacking, the things I was afraid to face. I began to say the opposite of that. So remember I said the shame, and then there's something wrong with me, and then the things that I'm not good enough and people don't want to be around me. I began to realize, so, okay, that's not true. I can think about the people who do like to be around me, and I am able to be myself, and there is nothing wrong with me. It's maybe something wrong with them, obviously, because why are they acting like this with someone they don't even know? And I just began to lightly not experience those intense feelings, and it's not experience people that are like that. Yes, you are going to affect certain types of individuals. Not everybody in life is going to like you. You don't even like everybody in life. Not everybody that you meet you're gonna like. And so when those feelings of feeling rejection, I noticed inside me, that was one of the biggest things that I was able to move through and process through. Feeling of rejection didn't affect me as much, and I started to experience less and less of those experiences with people, and I didn't have to change who I was. I'm still myself, and I just go where I am loved. And just know that I am valuable no matter where I am and no matter who's around me and no matter who is looking. That people are going to judge anyway. So no matter how much confidence you have, no matter how good of a quality, no matter how confident you are, charismatic, successful, you should not dim your light for nobody. Continue to love on yourself. Continue to cultivate the things that those people don't like you about, because it is not your responsibility to soothe them. And that's something I had to learn. And it was so hard because some of us, we are very empathic and we care about how other people feel because we know how it feels not to be treated right. We know how it feels not to feel when a person makes you feel uncomfortable. So you try your best to ease that for them, but it's not your responsibility to do that. And if it's a friend or family member that cares about you, you communicate with them and say, hey, is everything all right? But it's not your responsibility to focus on just trying to heal their emotions. They are a grown adult, just like how you are a grown adult. If you're able to heal yourself and work on yourself and process to yourself, they have the same tools that you have. We are not God. We cannot go out and heal these people. This is their responsibility. And I know it's like, okay, of course, but when you are being conditioned to be that way, when you are raised to be the nurturing person, you to be the one who cares, the one who sacrifices yourself for other people, it's conditioned, right? But you have to break from that urge of wanting to be that way. And I'm saying this because this is something that I had to learn, especially being the oldest daughter, and you are conditioned to just to give to people, to sacrifice yourself, to put other people first. But then you realize when you live your life through that way, you begin to bring in people who are like energy vampires. You begin to bring in people who want to simply take from you. And so you have to focus on you and think about it yourself. If they're offended by me, did I do anything wrong to this person? Did I say anything wrong? And then if you think to yourself, no, then no, don't worry about that. Unless you intentionally cause harm to this person, it is not that big of a deal to go out here and be sad and to go out here and be boo-hooing because you may have hurt somebody else's feelings. Because I'm going to be honest, if they did it to you, they would not even think twice about it. So it is your responsibility to not go overboard, extending yourself, trying to play God to these people. It's not your responsibility. It's even hard for a therapist to heal these people. So it's not your responsibility. So like I said, focus on yourself. Focus on the people who love you, and as well as be careful around certain individuals and who you bring your energy towards, because sometimes it's not safe to be around people who don't love you. Now, we see things that's happening out in the world. Be around people who lift your energy up. Be around people who are nurturing type of people. Just put your energy towards people who are accepting of you. But I'm not saying not challenge yourself to grow and develop, because you can't just be around a bunch of yes men. You still have to evolve. We are here to grow, and we are here to evolve. Embracing being too much or embracing being polarizing means stop being a people pleaser, being more honest, and accept that everybody's not going to like you. You're not everyone's cup of tea, and that it is not your responsibility to manage people's emotions and manage their frustrations. And what it does mean is to accept yourself as you are. Figure out what is making you feel bad about being yourself. Why do people make you feel bad about when you be yourself? What that is coming from? Work yourself through that, and then tell yourself what the actual truth is. Tell yourself the things that you really need to hear. And this will definitely help you in your life. I hope this video has been very helpful. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, peace.